and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. The Bible tells us in Revelation 14 that our deeds do follow us even into death. While our mind is focused on our loss today of Tom, and we plan to lay Tom to rest today, I want to ask you, what will you leave behind? Tom left a lot behind upon his death. A loving family. His wife Carla. 3 children, Billy, Kristen, and Jared. Several grandchildren that he loved dearly. One of the last conversations I ever had with Tom was in Tucson, Arizona. We went down to follow Deanna down to watch her play some softball. About an hour from where Tom and Carla were staying down there, they made that trek down just to watch her play. We went out to eat at McDonald's afterwards and had a long conversation about a lot of different things. Political, imagine that with Tom. I wore my socks for him today. But of course we got around to his grandkids. And he had to show us a video of one of his grandkids playing basketball. Wouldn't have to know which one that one was, would you? I learned a lot about Tom at the funeral. A lot of things I didn't know about Tom. Sounded like he was quite the swimmer, quite the athlete, an avid genealogist. I didn't know that about Tom. Once again, showing his love of his family. He truly did care how each and every one of us was doing. Sounded like he might have been a little mischievous as an adolescent growing up. Makes me wonder about all the times he was so serious at all those family get-togethers that we had. You know, one of the things I didn't realize that my dad and Tom grew up just blocks apart. Didn't realize that until I was talking to some of his childhood friends. I really didn't get to know Tom until I started dating my wife, my future wife. First time I ever went to a family dinner, Tom gave me the 9th degree. He wanted to know what my intentions were with his niece. Kind of scared me a little bit. If I'd just known about all of his mischievous stories back then, I might have had a little ammunition for him. One of the main reasons, though, that we're here today is because Tom left behind his love of country. Tom was disciplined. We heard about that at the funeral. From his spotless cars, make sure you don't touch them. His manicured yard, right, Carla? His personal schedule had to be on time. This discipline was probably something that was instilled during his time in the military. Tom loved his flag, the flag of the United States of America. My heart leaped for joy when we pulled up at the visitation and saw the American flag being raised right outside. It's hard to remember a time that you didn't see Tom wearing something either patriotic or something related to the military. Tom wanted to instill his love of country in each and every person that he touched. Tom so loved this country that he was willing to lay down his life for it, for us, that we might have freedom. The Bible tells us in John 15 that greater love hath no man than this, that the man laid down his life for his friends. Tom was willing to do that. While we all miss Tom, I encourage you to think about the many things that he left behind in each one of us. All the memories. Maybe his love of country, maybe his love of family, and maybe something else that you remember Tom by. but look for what Tom left in each one of us. I encourage you also to think about your own life. What are you going to leave behind in this world? Are you going to leave behind good memories, good friends? The Bible tells us in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 that there's a season for everything. To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get, a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. I'm sure that Tom would want us to remember him today, but also I'm sure Tom would want us to move on with our lives. He'd want us to continue on with what life has given us. Chris, do you have some things you'd like to share?
Driving out here today, first of all, I don't really have anything prepared. My wife just gave birth about 24 hours ago, so it's been kind of a crazy 24 hours, but it's all coming from here right now. I was driving out here. I'd never been out here. I've driven past it, this beautiful place hundreds of times driving back home. And I was thinking to myself, wow, this is really perfect. There's so much perfection about today and what Uncle Tom would want. One, he had voiced that he wanted to rest out here. Two, look at it. It's a gorgeous day. You couldn't have scripted it any better. Three, look at this crowd. I told the story at the funeral about how Uncle Tom, one of my fondest memories of him is he knew everybody's story. He knew, okay, you're an in-law to this person who I did a science fair project with in 7th grade, his uncle. He knew your story and he loved your story. And I'm sure if he were here right now, and I'm sure he's watching right now, and he knows every one of your stories and how we're all connected, and that I know he would be very proud and honored to have everybody here today. And lastly, what are the chances that, where he's being laid to rest is the same town just a few blocks away from Derek and Kristen and the grandkids? That's kind of a hair on the back of your neck type thing, that it all worked out like that. And I don't know, that's pretty special. That I couldn't get that out of my head when we were pulling in here today. Talked about this at the funeral too, but I think it's absolutely perfect. There was so much about him. He was a simple individual, but a rather complex one at that. Most of us Williamses are. But everything he did he was a soldier, and this is absolutely perfect. And I think if you just look around and greet everybody today, look at the flags, look at all the apparel. I've seen my mom and dad wore their American flag shirts. I wore my military cargos in honor of Uncle Tom, and I know he would be absolutely thrilled to have us all congregating, not only celebrating his life, but his love of country. So that's really where I want to end it. Thank you all for coming out here.
As we, as family and friends gather today, we miss Tom. We mourn for our loss of Tom. We remember that Jesus said in John chapter 14 that he would send a comforter to come to us. He follows it up in verse 27, John 14:27. Peace I leave to you, My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled. Let it not be afraid. Bow with me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you today. We lay Tom to rest today. We thank you that he blessed our lives in so many ways. Lord, he left a little piece of him in each and every one of us. We're so thankful for that. Heavenly Father, I just ask that you send your comforter to this family. Lord, make yourself known unto them in a way that passes all understanding, that they will know that your peace and your comfort has to come from you. Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this in your mighty, precious, and holy name. Amen.
If you could please rise for the rendering of military honors.
Take your guard, attention. Present arms. Fire! 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 Ready front. Present arms. Order arms. Order arms. Ready. Front.
Please be seated.
Minutemen from the start, always fighting from the heart, and the army